What's up, Nowstalgia? Dave here with a review of Lazarus, the anime series from Shinichirō Watanabe, of course, the famed creator of Samurai Champloo, Space Dandy, and of course, his most celebrated work, my favorite anime of all time, Cowboy Bebop. Obviously, a new series from him was going to be on my radar. This actually aired both in Japan and the US earlier in the year, from like April to like late June time or so. Available on HBO Max and Adult Swim here in the States. I'm coming to this a little bit late, but I definitely wanted to get to it, and finding time now in the summer when there's less things to talk about made enough sense here. But yeah, I want to talk about Lazarus just because as a big Bebop fan, I was very much anticipating something from Watanabe that is broadly similar, right? This is another sci-fi-esque series. It doesn't really have the Western vibes at all, but it's, set in the future, utopian-esque 2049. And it's I think, an anime that has a lot of Bebop touchstones to it. Ragtag group unites together to achieve, success for the greater good, right? Greater than the sum of their parts type thing. It's very classic, like, Bebop framing. And that is initially appealing. But unfortunately, Lazarus was a huge disappointment to me. I could not get over how derivative of Cowboy Bebop this was. And is it fair to compare Lazarus to one of the greatest animes of all time? Not necessarily, but when it's coming from the same creator and the similarities are so striking, it's really hard to ignore. I mean, Lazarus is trying to give you a lot of the same vibes. Its lead character, Axel, is Diet Spike Spiegel in nearly every respect. They act the same, they look the same, they have the same attributes. It's hard to get past. Lazarus has some solid plot, but man, does it really struggle with any depth or characterization. A huge strength of Bebop, of course. There's just not a lot of growth across this series. You're just watching a ton of plot get communicated, and like many anime series, I think the dialogue is incredibly poor and expository. That's not something unique to Lazarus, but it doesn't exactly help matters. John Wick's Chad Stahelski is actually credited as a action choreographer for this animated series, but I didn't really think too much of the action really stood out in this series at all. And it's just a series that I think really lacks in any real depth or further examination. I mean, the initial premise of this famed Dr. Skinner, revealing to the world that in 30 days, anyone who's taken this miracle pain relief drug, Hopna, is going to die. I think that's a great framing. That's a great setup for your stakes, for your intrigue in this future world that may be falling apart. And I liked all that. I think the initial setup, the initial getting the gang together with the crew, the Lazarus team, as it were, I think that's all fine. There's just a lot of other stuff that I think kind of comes out of nowhere. It doesn't really have any depth to it. You're not really invested in other developments. I think everything with the IMSCOM forces as villains, I think really falls incredibly flat. The introduction of the assassin character towards the back half of this season. Some of the coolest action you get in Lazarus is certainly with him involved, for sure. But his whole presence on the show is just so nebulous and so, I think, just kind of gray, And I was most let down, I think, were the general metaphor, in terms of this being, COVID comment, you could say. The depth not there. You understand the initial comment right away, and the problem is there's no second comment. There's no next line in the passage. I was just so let down by just how it all went. Again, there's things I like about it, right? I like how the episodes, at least the beginning, they start with this intro kind of voiceover, which is, I think, fun exposition, and it's coming from a different character of the team every time. I like that. I think that was kind of cool. I enjoyed, for me, I think the best episode in the whole series is episode 4, Don't Stop the Dance. That's where the team has to infiltrate this club, and they use deception, and they fight these really detestable villains. There's a great fight. There's a great chase. I think that is by far the most entertaining episode across the series. It also happens to be one that stands alone really well. I thought that was the show kind of kicking into gear and humming on all cylinders. Unfortunately, I was okay, after episode 4, now it's going to pick up, and it just doesn't. We just don't keep that momentum at all. There's just other duds that come, and yeah, again, there's a lot of plot, right? There's like revelations about Hopna and, you know, prisoner testing and things like that. But it's just hard to care about all the stuff that's happening. I mean, you randomly get introduced to Leland's family, his sister, towards the back third, but like it makes no impression. It's a come and go type thing. And it's just kind of more of that, you know. I think the revelations, albeit predictable as they were, about like Skinner's true intentions and the good things of the good in him in terms of like, you know, buying this land out in the Pacific that was going to sink and enabling these villagers to be able to move away, right? And the popcorn hacker, her relation to that. Like, I think that's so cool, right? It's not that there's not fun like plot revelations. I just really got, I think, kind of got lost with the characters feeling really stuck in the mud, and ultimately the mood, the vibe just wasn't there to the degree I was wanting, right? And it's hard, right? Because like you're coming to this with a Bebop lens, and it's like really hard not to do that. Be curious how people would think of this who hadn't seen Bebop. But for me, seeing all these similarities to Bebop, but not getting the same feeling, not even getting close to the same feeling, just comes across as a derivative lesser work to me, you know? And that's disappointing. I'll still check out whatever Watanabe does next. He's a cool creator. We know that. But yeah, Lazarus let me down. I will say, cool note, the Japanese voice actors, you have the voice of Spike Spiegel, Koichi Yamadera, and the voice of Faye Valentine, Megumi Hayashibara, are the voices of Skinner and Hirsch, of course, Japanese. So that's a cool little Easter egg there for Bebop fans, I guess. But yeah, Lazarus was a dud for me. Let me know, though, if you liked it, if you disagree with what I said about Lazarus, you think is really good, let me know why. Like, tell me why I'm wrong, because this just did not hit for me. Let me know, though. And for more TV reviews, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.